and welcome fellow digital soldiers to True Reporting. It is the 9th of September, and on today's podcast, the second podcast today, we did a double upload for you because of the lack of podcasts through last week. Coming at us from the Business Insider, we see here, guys, these are huge articles. Google says it's received a demand from the DOJ, the Department of Justice, to hand over documents on past government probes of its business, and it expects more to come. This is from September 6th. Then we move over to actually an hour ago, and it says here, Google whistleblower, my friend Zach Voorhees, states that the state attorney general needs to look at Google bias in real-time news feeds. My friends, Zach and Red Pill 78 will be on the True Reporting podcast, a live call-in show on Wednesday from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It has already been confirmed. And guys, how long have I been saying this? I get a lot of flack, but posted from 1 day ago. Trump's family, in quote, dynasty will, in quote, last for decades. 2020 campaign chief says. I've been telling you guys, and I've been catching flack from it, that I believe that this is going to be a Trump dynasty. It will be Ivanka. It will be this family for 2024 and so on for a while. This is a ruling family of very, very good people over this nation and over this world, to be honest. But my friends, before we get into today's podcast, will you please welcome my sponsor, MyPatriotSupply.com. Hey guys, Thomas with True Reporting here, and I wanted to tell you about my sponsor, My Patriot Supply. Did you know that September is National Preparedness Month? And with Hurricane Dorian bearing down on the East Coast, you better be prepared. And I am, because I have My Patriot Supply, and I have 4 weeks worth of food that gets delivered to me in this beautiful tote. Inside this tote, we see here I have 4 weeks worth of food, Maple Grove oatmeal, Traveler's stew, homestyle potato soup, so on and so forth. I am prepared and I am ready to go. All I need is a pot of boiling water and to dump in one of these packets, and I am good to go. And for the month of September, National Preparedness Month, My Patriot Supply will be giving this away for a $100 discount off. This is huge, my friends, so take advantage of it and go to preparewithtruereporting.com. That is preparewithtruereporting.com to receive your discount today. Thanks, guys. Be safe and enjoy the podcast. All right, guys, it's good to have you aboard. Before we get into today's podcast, will you please go ahead and click the notification bell so when I post this channel, you'll be the first to know. Also, please click that like button. The more likes that this video receives, the more times it is recommended to other viewers, thus more eyes on the truth. Please share this podcast and this channel on Facebook, Twitter, all social media. I would greatly appreciate it. My friends, in chronological order, this is a very important podcast to say the least. From the Business Insider, Google says it's received a demand from the DOJ to hand over documents on past government probes of its business, and it expects more to come. The tables are turning, guys. It says here, in an SEC filing made public on Friday, Google's parent company Alphabet told investors that the Department of Justice, the DOJ, has requested information about its past antitrust investigations. On August 30th, 2019, Alphabet received a civil investigative demand from the DOJ requesting information and documents relating to our prior antitrust investigations in the United States and elsewhere. The SEC filing read, in quotes, "We expect to receive in the future similar investigative demands from the state attorneys general. We continue to cooperate with the DOJ, federal and state regulators in the United States, and other regulators around the world." The filing released on Friday is the first acknowledgement from the search giant that it's the target of an antitrust probe by the Department of Justice. Earlier this summer, the Wall Street Journal reported that the DOJ, one of the federal agencies with the authority to carry out antitrust probes, along with the Federal Trade Commission's, the FTC, was planning on investigating into Google over its search and other businesses. Previously, in the company's most recent quarterly earnings report, Alphabet said that it, in quote, received increased regulatory scrutiny in recent months and that it would continue to cooperate, well, they better, with regulatory agencies, but did not provide any specifics. They are scared it is going to be brought down and then rebuilt from the ground up, from the foundation up. It is going to be fixed, guys. It has to be. There's too much of this company involved in political elections. It has too much to do with our information of the American people. Why are they over in China? Have they become an adversary? Absolutely. It says here on Tuesday, the Washington Post reported that an antitrust investigation into Google was prepared by, in quote, more than half of the nation's state attorney general and could be announced as early as Monday, September 9th, which is today. In conjunction with the SEC filing being made public on Friday, Kent Walker, Google's SVP of Global, released a blog post acknowledging the recent DOJ requests for information. In quote, Google services people, create more choice, and support thousands of jobs and small businesses across the United States. Walker wrote in part, "We have always worked constructively and with regulators and will continue to do so." This is just a cop-out, guys. This is their PR out there, public relations, talking about this, trying to sweep this under the rug. It's not going to happen. The DOJ is involved, all because of Zach Voorhees. Let's get it out there. The whistleblower has done a job. I put him on ranks as SR, as Julian Assange. So many people who have saved this country, who lay down the line for our country, right? This is what they do. This is what he has done. He is saving us. He's saving our information. He is saving our future elections. He has done a lot. A hero, my friends. Some of the information requested will likely come from the FTC's 2013 antitrust investigation of Google search and smartphone business practices. At that time, Google walked away from the encounter with incurring any financial penalties and having committed itself only to vague promises to change some business practices. Absolutely, they have to stay vague because they're nervous and they don't want to come out here with the truth, but the truth is going to come out to the American people and it is going to be brought to the ground and rebuilt. An outcome derided by many critics as a slap on the wrist. A Google spokesperson declined to comment and referred Business Insiders to Walker's blog post. The DOJ did not respond to a request for comment. It's going to happen, guys. It's going to happen. So this came out September 6th. Let's move up a couple days. Google whistleblower Zach Voorhees, in quote, state attorney generals need to look at Google's bias in real-time news feeds. We see it all the time. 40 state attorney generals, by the way, this is coming from sarahcarter.com, so you know it's legit. 40 state attorney generals have signed onto an antitrust investigation of Google. It is one of the biggest investigations into a corporation in modern times, and it will be unveiled Monday, today, on the steps of the Supreme Court, and former Google employees turned whistleblowers say it is an imperative step in the right direction. I concur. It also comes at a very important time as Republicans and Democrats ramp up their campaigns for 2020 election. Recent news that Google allegedly tampered with search results during the 2016 election season in Hillary Clinton's favor is also clamoring. It is. It wasn't 250,000 election votes. It was up to 16 million. They had to manipulate the election to get her to win. They are in cahoots with dirty politicians, and that is the facts, my friends. Donald Trump won that election without cheating. He did it the right way, and he mopped the floor with these people in 2016 and will do the same in 2020. You can bet your bottom dollar, my friends. Continuing forward, it says, according to researcher Dr. Robert Epstein, who spoke with Mark Levine Sunday on Life, Liberty, and Levin, noted that between 2.6 and over 10.4 million votes may have gone, in quote, Hillary without anyone knowing that this had occurred. I think it's more than 10 million. I believe I saw the number of 16 million, and I'm going to stick with that. Epstein said the study looked into politically oriented searches from a diverse group of American voters, according to Politico Monday. Republican Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton, along with the state counterparts, will announce they're investigating Google's power in the online advertising market. This is important because Google controls the advertising on individual sites and can withhold advertising if they deem content is not suitable, dangerous, or does not follow the Google deems appropriate. This is very subjective and based on what Google executives deem appropriate. Say former Google employees have turned whistleblowers. And my friend Zach Voorhees has shown me what they are capable of doing, even at YouTube, my friend. So let's go ahead and take a quick look at this video of the CEO of YouTube telling them what they will be looking out for, calling out what is fake news, so on and so forth. They thought they had their ball in their court, and they did not. So let's take a look at this quick video.
Second area, fake news. This is a hard area. A year ago, we didn't have the term fake news. Now everything is about fake news. We hear about it every single day. It's had a lot of concerns about how it affected the election, how it affects politics. News is important to us. We are a platform with global distribution. We talked about the number of users that are coming to us. We have some responsibility to make sure that we are delivering the news when something important happens in the world, when there's a crisis. We think people could benefit from this news. So news has always been important to YouTube. We also see people in locations like Syria where traditional news organizations can't get to, and people are talking about citizen journalism coming out of Syria. So what are we doing? Basically, this sounds easy, but it's really hard to do. We're pushing down the fake news, we're demoting it, and we are increasing the authoritative news and promoting it. How do we do that? We have a whole system. We came up with trashy news where we have build classifiers, we identify it, we look for salacious, for clickbait, content that isn't, that we don't think is the authoritative news. It's just kind of encouraging people to look at, but it's not true. We're training, we added these instructions to our raters, and we've updated our classifiers, and we are working to understand, identify that with machine learning, and then to push that down. And then we're increasing our authoritative news. We're doing that with things like a breaking news shelf. We're triggering it in the US, in France, in the UK, and more countries coming soon, where we have sources that come from reputable sources. We work with Google News on that to define what those reputable sources are. It triggered last week in the London Bridge attacks. It's also going to trigger on search. When you type in something, you're looking for a news event, you're going to see news there. We're also working with a lot more news publishers. News publishers don't want to be in the technical business of running their own player. We can do that for them. And we also want to get more news players on the platform. We have the goal of getting over 100 new news providers on our platform this year.
So you see, my friends, they are the ones that deem what is appropriate. They are the ones who are the gatekeepers of what is released to the American people, to the American public. This cannot take place anymore because they are holding back information that is very important, correct? It cannot be like this any longer. I believe in free speech. I believe in transparency, full transparency. We deserve, our God-given right is to understand the truth of what is taking place behind the scenes. And I believe that's the way it should stand, my friends. In many cases, the Google whistleblower says, it can be a story that just contains words such as terrorism, terror, shooting, kill, bombing, or just some examples of what Google deems dangerous. It pretty much eliminates a good chunk of stories and makes it impossible to drive traffic, and in some cases, the stories are deemed dangerous. In August of 2019, Google former senior engineer turned whistleblower Zachary Voorhees came forward. He told TRUreporting.com and Project Veritas' James O'Keefe that Google created algorithms to hide its political bias within the artificial intelligence platforms. What he said was that the company targeted particular words, phrases, and context in an effort to promote, alter, reference, or manipulate perceptions of internet content. He's turned over 950 pages of information to the Department of Justice proving this. This gentleman has been on many podcasts. He's been on a ton of platforms putting this information out there, my friends. I know Zach. He speaks with me behind the scenes. He's a very, very good person, very trustworthy, and a good friend of Red Pill 78 also. And again, my friends, they will be on the podcast, the True Reporting live stream, Wednesday from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So make sure you put that down in your calendars, all right? SarahACarter.com was able to verify that Voorhees delivered roughly, here we go, 950 pages of documents to the Department of Justice Antitrust Division in August. In quotes, it's pretty big, and they have all the data I have given them, and I'm sure they have been going through it, said Voorhees on Monday. I feel first off a bit of relief because this is exactly what I feel first off a bit of relief because this is exactly what I exactly would have happened. All right. Continuing forward, it says Voorhees said that the state attorney generals needs to look at Google's bias in real-time news feeds. It appears that Google gives certain media companies special access to actually bias the news results toward establishment players in the political field. Absolutely. They bury channels like us, like TRUreporting, and the ones who actually want to have humanity thrive, right? That's all I want. I just want the betterment for humanity. That's why I'm here. And they want to bury me under a bunch of lies and garbage news to keep people lulled to sleep. But we're fighting through. As you can see, whistleblowers and people who continue to fight the good fight, we will win in the end, my friends. We truly will. Pray for us. This is dangerous, he says, because the effects not just the big political races, but likely can affect smaller political state races, Voorhees said. He hopes what comes of this is that the government is going to start digging using the information I provided as a starting point for electronic discovery. Just to show the impact, I believe this is happening. Alleged manipulation of elections. His concern was the manipulation of tampering of elections, adding that it can change entire elections, just as Robert Epstein stated between 2.5 and 10 million votes were changed because of the control of information that Google applied in the 2016 election. Voorhees added that, in quotes, young people are especially vulnerable because they are trying to see if the information is true for their very first time. If they hear about something but don't see it, they will assume it's a conspiracy theory without merit, rather than something that a large section of population knows to be true. Google keeps the information from the public, instead of letting the public make well-informed decisions based on the information that is available. The DOJ's Antitrust Division investigation puts Google in a defensive position, where it will have to explain in detail how it conducts its businesses and operates the back end of its system, he said. I met with Voorhees in Washington, D.C. last month. He told me his goal was to inform the Department of Justice's Antitrust Division on how Google has been able to control the content by hiding its algorithms through its artificial intelligence. Voorhees said Google had been altering search results by auto-populating the search field. For example, the company had created a, in quote, blacklist for YouTube, and that blacklist contains thousands of search phrases that would conceal information from the public. Secret Google document. And guys, this is all real. You need to show this to your normie friends, to your parents, to your anyone that is still asleep. This is huge, guys. This could definitely change the thought process of people who are asleep at this point. Secret Google document. In one secret Google document, in quote, the queries in this file will force the controversial twiddler to be triggered. One of the examples used in the documents were keyword searches pertaining to the LV shooting. Here, Google had 8 full pages that contain words and keyword phrases that, if searched, would not pull up any of the information that already existed in YouTube. It was as if those videos never existed. I honestly think that a free market can fix this issue, said Voorhees to this news site while he was in Washington, D.C. The issue is that the free market has been distorted, and what's happened is the distortion is so grotesque and the engineering is so repulsive. All we need to do is just expose what's going on. People can hear that it is bad, but that can be bias. But when they see what Google has actually written with the documents, this will actually be taught in universities of what totalitarian states can do with this type of capability. It will be so revolting that it doesn't matter what the solution is. A solution will just form as a reaction to its manipulation that they have done, he said. Or he said in August that he has contemplated his decision before coming forward. He said he asked himself many times if he is overreacting, and every time I simply look back at the documents and realize that I am not. It is that bad, he said. Disclosing Google's own words to the American public is something I must do. If I am to consider myself a good person, the world that Google is building is not a place I or you or our children want to live in. Absolutely, I concur. And guys, this guy is a white hat. This guy is on our team. This guy is coming on channels to prove to us, to actually this movement, this 17 movement, that he is on our side. This isn't some LARP. This isn't some liar. This guy is through and through a good person, and he's here to help us. Okay? So let's stick by his side and watch as Google crumbles. Let's do this, guys. And last but not least, I have been getting so much flack over this every time I mention on a live stream or tweet it out that I think that Trump's family dynasty will occur, that just because don't use the term kings and queens anymore, except abroad, and just because we use president and first lady over here doesn't mean that these people are still not kings and queens. This is exactly what they are. They will be the ruling family for a very, very long time. Even the campaign chief also says this, that the Trump family dynasty will last for decades. 2020 campaign chief says. And guys, remember that post that POTUS put out about, it was just trolling the left, where it said Trump 2024, Trump 36, blah, 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 and it kept going Trump 48, and then it said Trump forever, error, error. That is him saying this, guys, right? The last president, we can go down that rabbit hole too. Check out those books. The Amazing Adventures of Baron Trump and 1900, The Last President, guys. What is this timeline? I'm not trying to get conspiratorial, but it looks as though it is lining up that way. So it says here, President Trump and his family represent a political movement with the potential of transforming the Republican Party, according to Brad Parscale, manager of the president's 2020 re-election campaign. In quote, I just think they're a dynasty, Parscale said, and told reporters after delivering a speech Saturday at the fall convention of the California Republican Party. I think they're all amazing people with amazing capabilities. Yeah, I do too. He said, according to the Associated Press, I think you see that from Don Jr. I think you see that from Ivanka. You see it from Jared. You see it from all. Hey, why don't you throw Barron in there too? The 7-foot giant. I think they're all amazing people with amazing capabilities. I think you see that exactly from these three people again. Parscale was speaking at the end of the week that saw Ivanka Trump embark on a trip to Argentina, Colombia, and Paraguay to promote the Women's Global Development and Prosperity Initiative. Saw Republican political strategist Rick Wilson predict in a Daily Beast column that Donald Trump Jr. will seek and likely win the 2024 GOP presidential nomination. I don't know, guys. From what I'm seeing is that they're grooming Ivanka. That's what I'm seeing. I see her more so in the White House than I see Jr. out there. But though I do see Jr. out there making these at these Trump rallies, he's out there opening it up. He's the one out there who's talking about in real-time situations. He's very real with the people. I just see that this aura, I don't know, it's the way that they carry themselves. POTUS, Ivanka, Jared Kushner, I know that we're on the fence about him, but something's different about these people, guys. Also with Barron Trump, it's just quite strange to me. It says here that, that Donald Trump Jr. will seek and likely win the 2024 GOP presidential nomination, and saw Jared Kushner appoint a lieutenant in his role of crafting the president's Middle East policy, according to Politico. Early Saturday, Parscale told the convention crowd in Indian Wells that the Trump family's influence would likely last for decades and propel the GOP into a new party, one that will adapt to changing cultures. One must continue to adapt while keeping the conservative values that we believe in, he added. Though, when speaking later with reporters, he declined to speculate on whether any of the president's family members would seek elected office, the AP reported. At the California GOP convention party, delegates sought to develop an election strategy in a heavily Democratic state that Trump lost by more than 4 million votes in 2016. Polls show the president remains widely unpopular there. Parscale acknowledged that California was not a key focus of Trump's re-election plans, and quote, "This is not a swing state," he said, drawing laughs from the crowd. But he noted California was the biggest source of the president's campaign donations. The party's struggles in California are well known. Democrats control every statewide office in both chambers of legislature. While holding an edge of nearly 4 million in voter registrations, both U.S. Senate seats are in Democrat hands, and the party has a 46-7 edge over Republicans in House seats in the state. The last significant push by a Republican presidential candidate to win California was in 2000 when George W. Bush was backed by more than $15 million, then lost to Democrat Al Gore by 12 points. So, my friends, what does this tell us? It tells you that, hey, maybe your boy Thomas over here might be onto something. Maybe I was right about this being a dynasty. This is actually a ruling family. This is what this is, right? Things haven't changed that much just because the titles of what these people are have changed. Doesn't mean that the world has changed that much. Guys, if you found this informative and you enjoyed it, please subscribe to my channel. You can follow me on Twitter at TRUreporting, and don't forget to leave a like. You can also donate to this channel and keep it afloat by going to my PayPal, Patreon. We have a PO box and TRUreporting merch. All links in the description box below. Guys, be kind and loving to one another. There is a huge Trump rally tonight in Fayetteville, North Carolina, so make sure you tune into that. And maybe we might do a little live stream too. Who knows? Guys, take care of each other, and I will speak with you very soon. Have a great night. Bye-bye.